Doing something new with the headphones. I'll tell you in a minute. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Living for a Living with your boy Joey Bradley. Episode number 28. The number of my favorite baseball player ever, Joey Cora.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?
Episode 28. We're rolling. And we're starting to get a little consistency going. I know I slacked off for a week or so, or half a week, and kind of got the dates mixed up, but I kind of like now posting on the weekend and then working through some stuff through the week. Recording now on Thursdays, typically, and I think that's pretty good. And yeah, shout out Joey Cora, literally all-time favorite baseball player ever, if you know who he is. Back when the Seattle Mariners were relevant, although I think the Seattle Mariners are actually doing well right now. I thought I read on Twitter they're like a game back from first. But I have a strategy. I'm a big Mariners fan, but pretty much anytime I care about them, they start to suck. So out of my true fanship or fandom, I think, I'm just not caring. I'm not paying attention. I haven't looked up the stats. I don't even know who's on the team. I couldn't tell you one score that's happened this year. And that is a true fan because I think we're doing well, but I don't even know that for sure. But yeah, Joey Cora was a fucking man, dude. Little second baseman. He was like 5'5", like 160 pounds maybe, probably even less than that. Led off, went Joey Cora, A-Rod Griffey, Edgar Buhner, Tino Martinez. This is the 95 season, for anybody wondering. Tino Martinez batted sixth. Vince Coleman, I think he batted 9. Maybe he'd lead off some games. I think Russ Davis was the third baseman, and then Dan Wilson batted 7 or 8. So that was the lineup. Just for a little off the top of your dome right there, 1995. Pretty much the last great year for the Mariners. I know in 01 we won 116 games. I don't know why the hell I'm talking about this. I have absolutely no point for any of this. It just kind of came up. So here we go. But I loved baseball. Baseball was my first love, actually. I had one of those nets that you could throw it and it'd bounce back at you. And I was an only child. And so I spent many an hour down in the backyard, and my backyard was like a maybe 20-yard by 10-yard strip of land of grass. So there wasn't much lateral movement you could do, but that bounce back, boy, ooh, we could do that. And I'd just sit out there and play for days. The good old days. Now that I'm 30, I can say that. The good old days. Kids these days, God damn it. It's just not the same. I feel lucky for when I grew up because I was kind of the last real generation of non-shitheads, I think. And that's still on the border too, I think, we grew up. My mom just let us leave the house and go terrorize the neighborhood and throw apples at cars and sometimes rocks. And if it snowed, you threw snowballs at cars, meet up with all the neighbor kids, ride our bikes around, man, climb trees. Oh, there's a great tree to climb up by my house that, you get 30, 40 feet up there, fall out of that thing. That'd be your last climb. But I just don't think, that's happening much anymore. There's too much worry. Fucking tree might have COVID, so we can't climb that tree no more. We'd go down to the park. We had this it was called the Hidden Park because it had no parking lot or anything, only like you could access it by walking. And it had a baseball field, kind of. I mean, it had the backstop and the woods was the fence. And man, we'd go there, play football, play baseball. We paintballed there. Man, paintballing, that was we started with slingshots, and me and probably like 5 of the neighborhood kids, Elliot, Gabe, James, Gabe's brother, Elliot's brother. You know, that was in the times where like older brothers just like really fucked with you. I didn't have one, but like I got fucked with by my friends' older brothers and the older brothers' friends. Oh yeah, I'm telling a story for sure about an older brother, Elliot E-Rock. Sorry, I'm telling this one. And you know, those were the days where parents weren't home, and more importantly, parents didn't really care. You know, they cared a little bit, but not too much. There wasn't all this bullshit going on in social media that they had to worry about whatever they got to worry about now. We ride our bikes around. We just play fake guns in the park, you know? And it took me a while to learn the like rolling of the tongue machine gun noise. Brrr. You know, in the beginning I was just like a pistol, like kind of guy. And I remember my friend's sister used to play with us, and she couldn't really do either. And so she kind of had this. It was fun. Her gun was like, and you know, we did that, and that was what we did. But no, speaking of older brothers fucking with us, I mean, one of my friend's older brother's friend almost drowned me when I was, I don't know, 3rd grade, 4th grade. One of the neighborhood kids had a pool, which is extremely rare in Washington because there's maybe 13 days out of the year you can actually use it. And he like was dragging me into the deep end, and I couldn't get free, and I could swim, but he was like dragging me down. And I remember I took a big gulp of water, and it's like one of the few times in my life I can really think like, this might be it. I might be done. And I still fucking hate David for that, so fuck you, David. But no, the story I wanted to tell, my guy Elliot and his brother Matt, who Elliot was my age, Matt was like 3-4 years older. And they were like the stereotypical older, younger brothers that like loved each other but really hated each other too. And Matt loved to mess with Elliot. And so they had just gotten Diablo 2, the computer game. And Matt had been playing it all morning. And we used to always go over to Elliot's house because Elliot's dad was never home. So it was just like we could do whatever the hell we wanted. And which also had some consequence because then Matt could do whatever he wanted to us, and there was no one to tell on. And so Matt's playing Diablo all morning, and Elliot really wants to play. I don't really care. I'm just there to have fun. I'm playing NBA Street on PlayStation. And Matt goes out to shoot some hoops, and he's shooting hoops, and Elliot's like pumped, like finally we get to play. And so he's like, okay, let's make some lunch, and then we'll play. And so we get done making some lunch, and somehow, some way, Matt had came back in from shooting hoops and was back on Diablo. And Elliot was not happy. And Elliot was a bit emotional when he was young. I mean, shit, we all were. Especially me, but especially Elliot. And he got so, Matt, I hate you. Da, 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 da. Fuck you, mama. Just going off. And there was the table with our lunch on it, and we had apple juice. And Elliot, I mean, he would get mad, like real mad. And for whatever reason, his brain told him, I mean, he was so mad, like he would try and fight Matt, but Matt could just beat his ass. So like he had to pick and choose what he did to get his frustration out. And he just, fuck you, Matt, and grabbed some apple juice a full glass. I hate you. And just splashed it all against the wall. And here's this, full glass of apple juice just dripping down the wall like a Cardi B music video. And it's one of those moments that stuck in my life because Matt, was like, no, fuck you. And all of a sudden he just like looked over and we both kind of looked at him. And Matt was like, "You fucking idiot. What'd you do that for?" And we all went from like kind of tense fighting to just bursting in laughter. And yeah, that was a story that, I mean, I see Elliot when I'm back home. And we normally tell that story whenever we see each other. So I just had to solidify that one in the internet right there. We used to play games like we'd climb up in a tree and then Matt and his friends would throw basketballs at us. That was a fun game. It wasn't really a way to win. You could catch the ball, and that was kind of like a, ha-ha, we got you. We'd catch the ball, and then they'd say, "Hey, throw the balls down." No. Okay, we're throwing rocks then. Oh, okay. You know, those were the games. We didn't have Fortnite. We didn't have Call of Duty. Like, we got tired of playing video games at some point. I don't know how that happened, but we did. And so, yeah. So now you know that. I don't know why, but now you do. But speaking of what's going on now, I mean, I was loving, and I still am loving, more or less, living here in Czech Republic. You know, some of the frustrations I've already spoken about with the lack of fish and maybe the lack of smiles. But I swear, man, ever since I started complaining, 2-3 episodes ago, about there being no fish, yo, the pond is getting stocked, boy. I don't know what's happening. I think I did find out, I guess there is like a college or two in town. And so maybe that's what it is. But I mean, I don't know what it is. Like I said, the pond's getting slightly stocked. I'm sitting at dinner yesterday, eating some pizza, and fish are swimming on by, boy. And so, I don't know if maybe that's just, like I said the other day, speaking my truth. The universe is like, okay, we got to stock the pond for our guy out there in Yslava. And so I'm not complaining, but maybe I've got to keep complaining. I don't know. I don't even think I was complaining in the beginning. I was just stating some observations, maybe in somewhat of a complaint style. But yeah, it's been popping. I mean, comparatively speaking, when, you know, statistics can be skewed in all kinds of ways, and I'm going to get into that, you know, where you can label and say any statistics that you want and make them sound good or bad for whatever side you're trying to advocate. You know, for example, if there was one shark attack per year in some ocean or some city or whatever, and then all of a sudden they had 2 one year, you know, the headline would say, "Shark attacks are up 100%. Beware, we're all gonna die. It's the start of a new sci-fi movie." But in reality, there was just one more shark attack than there was the year before. And so, you know, the media loves to use those kind of pointed statistics at times. And, you know, it's like right here, like I said, how I started is, it's been great living in Czech Republic since I've been here, because it's felt like normal life in regards to COVID and lockdown and masks and that all bullshit. And it's been great. You know, I've been here for about 2 months now, and I think the first month or so, maybe actually no, like the first 2 weeks, masks weren't required, nothing was required. Could do whatever you wanted. Then for maybe like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, masks were required in buses and like the supermarket. And then all of August, nothing. And then for whatever reason, September 1st, we started back up with it. And I said, I'm fucking done with it. I don't care. Call me insensitive. Cool, I am. And I think in the last 3 weeks, I've worn a mask for about 5 seconds to get on a Flixbus to come back from Prague. And the only reason I did that was because I was with a friend and her mom, and the mom was all about it. And so I just, otherwise it wouldn't have been on. When I go to the grocery store, I'm throwing on the headset, walking right in, and I don't care. I'm over it. And people are slowly, I think, here on the bus, people are not wearing it as much. Here, I guess I can take these headphones off. I just had these headphones on to start it to make it look like more official. I don't know if it worked or not. These weren't working at all. But anytime you see like podcasters, there's always like headphones on, and yeah, no, nothing was happening there. So tricked you. And so, but here in Czech Republic now, the scare is back. They did a great job in the beginning, supposedly, of shutting the borders and wearing masks in the beginning to slow things down. I think also there just was very little political agenda behind the whole situation, which is a huge help, in my opinion, because I think in a lot of the places that it's incredibly politicized, like the US, Spain, and Brazil, there's a reason for that, you know? And I mean, you just look at the stats in the US about what states are the worst and then what states are doing all right and not overreacting over it, and it all happens to be one party or another, one way or the other. And so out here, I don't think there's been that same political agenda behind the whole thing, because like I've said before, this shit ain't really about our health. If health was the concern of government anywhere, soda wouldn't be as accessible. We'd have much higher regulations on food. We'd have no McDonald's. We'd have, they would actually talk about healthy diets, getting sleep, exercise, the things that actually boost your immune system and make you a healthier person. Eating vegetables and fruits. But no, we need to wear masks. That's the only thing that can save you. That and a vaccine. Those are the only things that can save us from the government. And no, I'm getting a little worried that maybe my season out here might get canceled, because we're starting to get back. The cases are rising out here. I said it last episode or two up that the cases haven't even really been rising. The cases are rising a little, but the deaths aren't. Or maybe they are a little bit, but like not astronomically at all. And listen, death is sad. I've said this before, but death is a part of life, and it's what makes things beautiful. And people die. A lot of people die every day, everywhere, for all kinds of reasons. And it's sad and it sucks, but we normally don't even notice because it's not on the TV. It's not in the newspapers. It's not on social media. But now it's just so highly focused on that it's crazy. And so I looked up some stats for here where I currently am to know, okay, is it really, because I like to try and be logical and try and think critically. And if it is serious, then let's be serious. And if it's not, then let's make an assessment based on the facts and what's presented. And I couldn't find the exact stats of what I was looking for, so I kind of had to do some of my own math. And so I put that in the forefront of what I'm about to say, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could totally be wrong, and I won't deny that at all. But here in Czech Republic, there has been, I know this for a fact, according to Google, 482 deaths due to COVID. And so if we start that from March, April, May, June, July, August, pretty much September, so 6-7 months, okay, 482 deaths. Okay, I looked up how many people, so 480 divided by 7 is about 70 a month. I'm rounding right now. Okay, don't shoot me for rounding numbers. If it was 490 for 7 months, it'd be 70. So about 70 deaths a month. Okay, I looked up here in Czech Republic how many people die per day here. Average, normal, before all of this stuff. And I couldn't find that exact number, but the yearly death rate here in Czech Republic, which I don't know compared to anywhere else, I'm just looking up for where I am right now, given time and place, is 10.6 people per 1,000 citizens. Okay? And so 10.6, again, I rounded up a little bit. So that's 11. It might have been 10.8 actually for this year. So we'll say 11 people out of 1,000 citizens. There's 11 million people here in Czech Republic. So 11 people times 11 million divided by 1,000. I think that's the ratio. I think, like I said, I don't know if that's really how it works. Equals the total amount of people that die per year. I learned that in math class in 8th grade. It's one of the few things I actually remember, besides the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of 2. I remember it from a song. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's all I fucking remember from math. And a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then I also learned how to do the Rubik's Cube in 8th grade math from my guy Bo Chiba. But anyway, I digress. Moving forward. Again, so 11 out of 1,000 people die per year. There's 11 million people. Do all the math. According to my math, that's about 330 people per day. When you do that math divided by, that's per year, divided by 365, etc. Again, I might be wrong. Please correct me if I am wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm not trying to, this is just how I'm thinking. It kind of goes in flow with like other averages and other places that I found. So over the last 6 months, we'll say, there's been 482 deaths due to COVID. And on average, there's about, we'll just round down, 300 people die every day. Okay? So, in that same 6-7 months of 300 people per day, 300 times 30, that's 9,000 times 6. That's about 55,000, más o menos. So in that same amount of time that 482 people have died, there's been, we'll just say 50,000 overall deaths. And like I said, death is sad. It sucks. I don't wish it upon anybody. I'm sorry for anybody who's had to experience it. But it happens. And when the numbers are, for the majority speaking, it's all old people with some pre-existing conditions or fat people with pre-existing conditions that have other issues going on, which, yeah, maybe they would have lived for however much, but anything, a bad flu could have got them. And that sucks. I know I'm insensitive and I don't care about anybody, but we're literally shutting everything down to save the people who are at risk, who are gonna be at risk no matter what. And to me, it just doesn't make sense. We're giving up our freedoms like a true American speaking here. God damn it. America, brother. We're giving up our freedoms. We're having to do this, having to do that. Because of this? because of those. And like I said, maybe those stats are wrong. Please, someone correct me or say I'm right or whatever. Do the research yourself, always. Please, always, always, always do the research yourself. So, you know, I'm going to be pissed, honestly, if my season gets shut down again over those fringe statistics, those people that are in the fringe of the big picture. And there's not going to be a vaccine anytime soon for all that. That's just total government giving hope. Statistically and historically, vaccines don't get made. They take like 2 years to get made correctly. We're not going to get a vaccine anytime soon. And even when we do, vaccines aren't 100% good anyway. This thing is going to exist. It's going to continue. It's going to be there. Like, it just makes no sense, man. It's like people die in car crashes all the time. So it's like, okay, well, let's stop driving cars until we get some self-driving cars, or we get a car that is 100% accident proof. And I know those aren't perfect comparisons because, well, it can affect a lot more people than just in the cars. But you know what I'm saying? Oh, there's some thunder out. We better not go outside. You could get struck by lightning. I mean, it's crazy. It is just crazy at this point. And I think a large majority of people might not exactly agree with the extreme side that although I don't feel I'm super extreme. I feel like I'm just like common sense, which I guess maybe is kind of extreme at this point. But I mean, everybody I talk to here in Czech Republic thinks it's stupid. You know, and I'm not talking to a million people, but in my circle, you know, they're all thinking it's pointless and it's way overreaction and this and that. You know, I mean, for what it's worth, we started this lockdown, we started all this stuff to first flatten the curve and to make it so the hospitals weren't so busy and stuff like that. Well, there were hospitals in the U.S. that were shutting down because they couldn't do any other operations or anything like that. I've read something. There's been, I mean, the rise of amount of people that have died, like Alzheimer's patients and stuff like that, not from COVID, but from a lack of treatment available during this time, is astounding. Mental health is just plummeting. And that's something that no one really, I mean, we're starting to talk about more, but it's something that we're all going through. You know, the mental health with suicide, again, I don't have the numbers of this in front of me, but there's been like more suicides in like the first month or two in California than there normally is in a year of the lockdown in the beginning. You know, people with drug and alcohol problems that are in Alcohol Anonymous and things that help them through that hasn't been out there. You haven't been able to go to that anymore. And so, in my opinion, this thing is going to be hurting way more people outside of the virus than is actually inside of the virus. Not to mention small businesses, not even just small businesses, but employees that have gotten laid off, that are going to be completely put behind the 8 ball in debt and bills. So, I don't know. I think what I think, and I think it's up to us a lot. You know, I'm not trying to lead any revolution or anything like that, but at the end of the day, like, we all do have a choice. And I know the concept of like confirmation bias and groupthink is extremely prevalent. And I mean, it's been incredibly prevalent throughout history. That's led to a lot of bad decisions and a lot of problems throughout history. I'm reading a book right now called Humans, the History of How We Fucked It All Up. And I'll finish it by next week. And so I'll give an actual book review. I'm pretty proud of myself. I've been trying to read more. And the book is great and also scary, because it's great in the sense that you read some of these things that we've done in the past, from a diplomatic, from a leadership, from a health, from all kinds of perspectives, environment. And you're like, whoa, okay. So we're not that dumb right now. Or we are, but we've always been really dumb. So this isn't anything like new, or, it is how it is. But the scary part is that this type of thought process and behavior has just continued to repeat itself throughout history in just a different form. And so I strongly believe that in 100 years, 200 years, they're going to look back on this instance, this time in history, and think, it's going to be in the volume 2 of this book, 100% in my mind. Because it just, call me crazy, and that's all right. I kind of like that. But it just doesn't add up when you really put it all together. And so, yeah, that's I don't have a ton to talk about today. I wanted to kind of get that off my chest, because it's affecting me, it's affecting everybody. But most importantly, in my life, it's affecting me. I'm the main star of my movie. You're the main star of your movie. And I don't know what the solution is, but I know going into another lockdown is not the solution. From a financial, from a psychological, from a physical, from anything. It's not. At least not to me. And like I said, I've been wrong many a times in the past. I don't really know much about much. But I got the microphone and I'm talking to the camera, so I'm going to tell you what the fuck I think. You know what I'm saying? So that's been the main kind of concern for me right here the last couple days. We had a bye week this last week, which was nice, but also at the same time kind of sucks, because, man, I want to play. I want to get this season rocking. We got 4 games in a row coming up this next month. Game on Sunday, away game, home game, and then play a semifinal championship. And, we're at that point after 4 games where, like, the offense is, we have been clicking, but now we're really clicking. And now guys are really, like, buying into everything and know the offense and know, we're making little tweaks here and there. And so just, again, from a selfish standpoint, man, I want to keep playing. Because now it's really getting fun. Because now guys really know what's going on. And we can continue to build and climb. We're not at the point of, like, learning. We're at the point more of fine-tuning and mastering. And that's when it gets really fun. So in that same breath, I just got to enjoy every moment of it. Enjoy every practice. Enjoy every game, every play. Every day, all those things, and that's cliche, but it's also true, because you don't know. It could, like it happened in Spain. We practiced on a Wednesday, and by Saturday, Sunday, the season was canceled. And that sucked. That really sucked. So that's what's been going on here with me. I learned about some cool new shit this week that you're not going to be able to find it on the internet at all, and that's why I kind of like it. I've actually found a little bit of stuff on it, but it's in Czech, and then I've had to translate it, and this is completely random and a little bit conspiracy theory, but there's this mountain in Brazil, tabletop mountain, Cu- Cu- Cumperia. I don't know how to exactly say it, but it's a mountain that it is on the border of Brazil, Venezuela, and one other country. Forget that one. And tabletop mountains, for those that don't know, I just learned about it this week, is these mountains that have been formed through history in a weird way, where they just have like straight cliff walls and then the tops are flat. It's like some serious mountains, but just straight up, straight up everywhere. And then on top, it's like a completely different ecosystem and completely different. There's plants and animals up there that supposedly like have been extinct elsewhere that have been continuing to live up there. The Lost World, like Jurassic Park, is like kind of based on these things. And like there's some weird stuff. Like I said, if you can Google search and find this stuff, let me know, because I've been looking into it. I've just found a couple Czech things about a guy who went there back in the 70s, but it's illegal to go to now. The whole area is guarded by the Brazil military, and the reasoning is for like rainforest preservation, even though Brazil does not give a fuck about their rainforests at all, and also like native tribe preservations, which again, from things I've been reading, they don't care about those people too much either. Or if they do, you can be bought in order to get them off their land. I mean, it's kind of the sad story of all Native American. I mean, they're technically Native Americans, Native South Americans. And if you fly over this area, there's freedom to shoot planes down by the Brazil military, and they were building a highway over or near this mountain. Would have came very close within the mountain, this highway, and it had a ton of funding. It was pretty much all the way done, and then it just got halted and completely stopped for absolutely no reason. And so there's some weird theories about, animals or aliens or something in between that's going on there. And it's been something I've had a little bit of fun just researching it over these last couple days. And I wanted to share it because I didn't know about it, and I know a lot of people probably have never heard of it. And, it kind of ties into the theme that, nowadays we really trust Google with just about everything. You can Google it, and we're in the age of information, and well, if it's on Google, it's true, and if it's not, then it's not. And, it's, I think we're starting to almost create a false sense of age of information because, with Google, you can pay for your stuff to come up first. And so in that same breath, you can then pay for stuff to not come up at all. If you understand how that works. So I think that's just kind of important to remember with us being in this quote unquote age of information, that you really can't believe everything you read, for one. And there's a lot of stuff that maybe we should believe that you can't read. Hope that makes sense. Made sense in my mind. And yeah, but I don't know how I'd get there, or how I felt like Brazil has been calling me for the last few years, and I want to go play football there eventually. It's been a big goal of mine to really use my Portuguese that is getting pretty good at this point in my life. And maybe I thought that's what it was for. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something else to it. But this shit has been on my mind a lot lately. And I just wanted to share. So hope you found that a little bit interesting. I'm going to try and do some more research on it. Talk about it a little bit more. Finish this book I'm reading. And this next episode, I'll highlight a couple very interesting things from this book that, like I said, will give you some hope for what appears to us being really stupid right now, but then it'll also scare you and know that, well, it could happen again. It for sure could happen again. So, not to be dark and not to leave us on a depressing note, but that's all I really got for us today. It's a little bit shorter of an episode. We're only about the 40 minutes. And yeah, still send in those questions. Didn't get anything this week. That's all right. I'm sure if you're still listening at this point, I meant to say it in the very beginning. I'll have to hit it on 29. But hit that subscribe button, like, all that stuff. I'm going to slowly start to make a little bit more of an effort to get this thing to take off a little bit more. There's one thing I learned with the Nepal videos and getting those somewhat popular on YouTube is it just takes a little bit of effort and a little bit of belief, kind of with anything in life. And, I hate doing it, of messaging people that I know randomly about, hey, could you subscribe to my channel and share it if you feel inclined? But at the same time, closed mouths don't get fed. And so with that note, if you got a question, a comment, a concern, like I said, Instagram, WhatsApp, Living for a Living on Instagram, on WhatsApp, +1 425 443 6928. Shoot me a message, voice, video, text, all that. We'll throw you up on the episode. I think I got a response coming from Nelson from 2 weeks ago, or from last week. And we talked about it in our group chat in our fantasy football, and they had nothing but good things to say. It was a funny chat going on, but we'll get the exact words from the horse's mouth himself and Nelson, and explain how he feels some tough coaching and being called a jackass at age 13 or 14 shaped him in his life. Which probably gets you thrown in jail nowadays. So, yeah, that's all we got, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I appreciate you. I love you. I support you. I think you matter. And I'm grateful for you. No matter who you are. Do something nice for somebody today, even if it's just sharing a smile with a stranger. You know what I mean? As I keep saying, if we want to change the world, we got to start with ourselves. And that's the most difficult thing to start with. But that's the easiest way to change the world, is start with you. And so on that note, we'll sign it off, and we'll see you next week. Alrighty. Peace and much love.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?